What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today, for the final time this year and the final time ever, I am going to predict what is going to happen tonight in the 2023 NFL Draft. I have the script, not really, but last year we actually did a pretty solid job on predicting some of these, and I'm excited to do that once again. Let's get right into this. Let's have a good time. Would love for you guys to stick around. There's going to be a lot more than just 2024 draft content that's on this show. We got fantasy football coming up, sports betting. We just have a brand new sponsor. And yeah, that sponsor is Underdog Fantasy. If you guys do love me so much, you guys can deposit $10 as a brand new account. You guys get to pay me $50 by doing that. And then also you guys get $10 on return. You can even put up to $100 and they will give you $100 extra on the house. So feel free to do that. Code Alex or Hail Mary Sports. And yeah, feel free to enjoy that. Of course, all the links will be down in the description below. Let's get right into this. Let's have some fun. We will be live streaming tonight as well. I know this is going to be crazy, but this is not going to be what I would do at mock draft anymore. This is going to be solely what I think will happen. And there's going to be some crazy stuff in this. Let's get right into it. Number one, not going to waste our time. Bryce Young is going to be the dude. Number two, I think that the Texans will try to trade out of here, but there might be some understanding that the quarterbacks will not go as high as we thought they would. And there was an excellent point made earlier today, and I forgot who it was by, but feel free to credit them down in the comment section below. But they said just because a team needs a quarterback and there's one available does not mean they'll take them. They have to fully believe in who they are, how they'll fit into the system. Because a lot of GMs and coaches are tied to a quarterback. So, I think there's a lot more of a decision process in there than, hey, we need a quarterback, there's one on the board. So I have a weird feeling that the Texans are going to want to trade for Trey Lance. I'm not going to include that in this, but I believe that might affect their decision at 2. And I don't think the decision will be made by tonight on Trey Lance. Or at least the decision will not be made by the second overall pick, but we'll see how this goes. I have not fully planned this out. The script is right here, but I'm going to be going after Tyree Wilson at this spot. He is a native, I believe, of Houston. They like to grab guys like Jalen Pitre was from the area. Kenyon Green, I believe, was also from the area. So they like getting homegrown talents, and Tyree Wilson is certainly a good enough player to at least warrant a top 5 selection. So you combine that with what they are looking for, I think it's an excellent move. I think the Cardinals should be looking for a trade down option. We've heard that teams are intrigued with that number 3 overall spot. But again, I don't think the teams are that in love with the prospects to the point where they'd give up that much draft capital to get the number 3. The Philadelphia Eagles, like just for example, for a reference point, if they wanted to get to 3, they'd have to spend 10, 30, as well as their second round pick, and then they'd still be under the pick value, let alone trying to pay a little bit more to say, hey, we're giving you a little bit more value. So it's very expensive, especially for a team like the Titans that do not have that much draft capital. But there's a team that is close by, also has a lot of draft capital. And I think if the Cardinals are dead set on a specific player, which I have one in mind, because this particular individual has a grasp on the cojones of this organization. So I think they'll be leaning a little bit more to what he wants. And Kyler Murray, I think they'll still be able to be in range for that type of player. So you're taking out Will Anderson from the Seahawks. You guys get where I'm going with this. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be a team to move up. Based on the pick value system, I've actually done this now a couple of times. I think in my past 2 mock drafts, I've done this. But based on the value system, it's 655 in a round 3 next year. It's actually amazing for the Cardinals because I do believe that they are going to look for both quality and quantity. You get an early first round pick right here. You also get another second round pick where perfect for a center, for example, a corner, for example. Like there's going to be some good players at that spot. And then you get future draft capital as well. People get all butthurt when I do click force trade. It says it'll likely be accepted anyways. I'm just not in the mood for the RNG to potentially say absolutely no. But I think the Lions have the draft capital. They lack the overall needs. And I think that would be an excellent move to get Will Anderson. It lines up with what the Cardinals are trying to value. It lines up with what the Lions are valuing. And I think overall, it's a great trade for both teams. I don't think the Lions need that many pieces. I fully believe in them to be a potential Super Bowl competitor. And yes, I know I sound crazy when I say that, but I'm willing to be crazy in order to be authentic and genuine with you guys. And I'm all about transparency. Number 4, I do think teams actually do have the hard on for Will Levis over CJ Stroud. So I do think that this is going to be selection at 4. Pick number 5, CJ Stroud is on the board, but I think this team, with the loss of Aaron Rodgers in the NFC, believes it could really, really make a push. Brock Purdy isn't even going to be able to throw for a couple more months from his shoulder surgery. So God only knows if there is a Trey Lance trade, that God only knows if he's actually going to, be in throwing shape or be good to be able to actually compete with this division. So I think they're going to go after a win now approach and go Jalen Carter over going the future option in CJ Stroud. Pick number 6. This is what I'm talking about. I think Kyler Murray has his hands on the cojones and saying, I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to get what I want. He's a diva, but he does have a lot of talent, so he does deserve it. He has a lot of the salary cap as well, so I do believe that they are probably going to be working towards what he wants. I'm going to be going after Paris Johnson here. A lot of people are thinking of taking him at 3rd overall. I'm at least giving you guys an extra 2nd round and an extra 3rd round selection. So Paris Johnson is going to be the move there. Can play guard as well. I think that given the fact that Kyler Murray isn't playing this year, most likely, you'll still be able to have Paris even work as a guard and still get those meaningful reps. And he also can move to right tackle, can be a true left. That versatility and then the extra experience he'll have when Kyler comes back is going to be worth it at that pick number 6. Pick number 7, I highly doubt that the Raiders are going to be comfortable sitting in the spot. You got some great players here, Devon Witherspoon, Peter Skoronski. You even got Bijan Robinson here. I think this is a great trade spot because I do see CJ Stroud here. And I think the Falcons would be open to taking CJ if he is there at 8. I think they would be definitely open to it. So if a team is going to try to get him, I think they'd have to jump. And I've thought about maybe moving up here with the Texans. And I think I might do it because it's right now a battle between the in-division rivals. And I think the Texans have a little bit more draft capital that they can offer because I don't think the Titans can part ways with their 2nd round pick to move up 4 spots. I don't think they'd be comfortable doing it. And I know that the Texans have the earliest 3rd round selection. So with this pick, I think the Texans were saying, hey, we're going to feel how the draft falls. We're not going to take a QB at 2. If there's a guy within striking range, that's exactly what we are going to do. And based on actually the value of the pick jump, this is correct. I mean, you could potentially do it this way to spice up the deal. But regardless, I'm not really looking at the compensation, so to speak, apart from in this year. If I'm the Raiders, I'm saying, hey, look at this. We're going to be able to have a very early 3rd round pick. We have a lot of picks. We can move up into the 2nd because of it. You can't squeeze out 33. That's just not, based on the value, it's not going to work. So I'm going to be offering this. And yes, people are going to get mad that I'm clicking force trade. It is what it is. PFF, I'm not going to let them dictate the script because they definitely do not know. The Texans move up and select CJ Stroud. They said the agent is not a factor. They passed on him at 2, but I think if he's there at 7, it's totally worth sending in that 3rd and potentially 3rd or 2nd round pick. Pick number 8. So you also take him away from an in-division rival here in Tennessee. I think this spot could be Bijan Robinson. It's the toughest to predict where Bijan's going to go. He's the odds favorite at pick 8. I'm praying they don't do that. And I think Devon Witherspoon's a very sneaky pick for him here. I really do. They just lost Casey Hayward. You have Jeff Okudah for like 1 year. You have like legitimately one starting cornerback after 1 year. And Devon Witherspoon, his DC has played with or has coached with Dave Huxtable. You have those connections there. I'm going to go back and select Devon Witherspoon. I think that he will be going in this range. You could see Christian Gonzalez, but I don't think, based on his interviews that I've seen, I don't think he's captivating enough as a speaker to be able to influence people to go his way over someone who I think has a crazy blue chip mentality, puts it on the field, and doesn't have any questions except his measurables. And we've seen plenty of solid cornerbacks who can, tweak the measurables, so to speak. I think Devon Witherspoon's going to be great. Like, I have complete faith that Devon Witherspoon is going to be a star in this league. And especially if he's able to go and train with someone like AJ Terrell, he has moved up my board the more I've watched him. Pick 9 for the Bears. This is a tough one, but you got Peter Skoronski here. I'd find it hard for them to pass on a dude who's right on their doorstep. I also don't exactly think that they're in the mood to go after someone they might not believe is a tackle. And I think they are going to have that boner for the Darnell Wright. And we are going to, I was about to say ride the boner, but it's like, nope, pause. That we are going to go in to what they're looking for, and we're going to ride the train. Yep, we're just going to stick to that and go Darnell Wright. Pick number 10 for the Eagles. Man, it's a split between Peter Skoronski, who I think is such a Howie move. It is such a Howie move. Bijan Robinson, which this dude has been playing all of his cards saying, dude, all about the Eagles. He loves the janitors of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And this could be a spot where Howie does move back with a team like the Steelers, who might be willing to move up for someone like Peter Skoronski to be a star tackle for them. I do think that is possible. But I think that Howie might just love the passion Bijan has for this team. I think Nolan Smith needs to be another option here, though. Nolan Smith has that instant chemistry with Jordan Davis as well as Nakobe Dean, and that's kind of what you are trying to build here. He also could be that Micah Parsons role. We've seen a lot of success out of Hassan Reddick. I just don't think I can pull the trigger. I don't. I think they're going to go Bijan. I really do. I think Howie's going to twist his morals and go after somebody who has so much passion for the team and really does complement the backs well. And this is you will ask yourself, hey, do I want, with Peter Skoronski and Nolan Smith, someone who's going to make the Pro Bowl 5 times out of the next 10 years and have a really good the next 10 years? The answer would be yes. But do you want somebody who's going to be an all-pro for 2 or 3 years out of the 5 that he's going to be legitimately at the top of his game, if we're going to be pessimistic and say he doesn't last past that? And I think the Eagles are in a mindset right now that they're trying to win, and I'd prefer those all-pro seasons and the Super Bowls over consistently being able to compete. I'd rather be able to consistently win in the short than consistently compete in the long. And so Bijan Robinson is going to be my balls to the wall selection, because I was debating on Peter Skoronski at that pick. And when I planned it out in my head, that's exactly what I did. But the more I thought about it, the more I could not say that Bijan gets out of the top 10 if people truly think he's going to be a gold jacket type of player. Pick number 11 for Tennessee. I think if Anthony Richardson is here, I don't think they have the draft capital to move up for a quarterback. Very far at least. But I think they'd be comfortable if one fell to them. Malik project is kind of over. I think that there's potential. I think according to Albert Breer, we could even see Ryan Tannehill be traded during the draft. I think they're happy to be able to latch on to a talent like Anthony Richardson. And I do think that one of the quarterbacks will slip out of the top 10. So personally, if I were the Raiders, I would have went probably CJ Stroud. If I'm the Falcons, I might have went after Anthony Richardson just because he fell to me. But I think that based on reality, they're going to try to give one more year to Desmond Ridder, potentially get Drake May or Caleb Williams next year. And I think the Titans are saying, this is out of the top 10. Let's take the risk. And based on that, they do end up latching to a new quarterback there in Anthony Richardson. Pick number 12. I didn't think he was going to be here, but I think Peter Skoronski would be their selection even over Christian Gonzalez. They're thinking about taking him there at pick 7. I don't think they pass on him at pick number 12. This has already screwed up the mock draft that I was planning for myself for this pick. But I do think the Packers do the right thing and go Jackson Smith and Jigba. I really do. There are rumors, actually, that Tyree Wilson could have a medical slip, and I'm praying to God that's not true. But we'll see what happens. Pick number 14. I think the Patriots, if they see Christian Gonzalez on the board, they're not going to pass on him. I had this as a potential trade back spot, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. We're going Christian Gonzalez here out of Oregon. The Jets are sitting there at 15, and there's a particular player on the board who I absolutely adore, and he's number 2 on my board. And I think that we know Washington, if they're given the options, are probably going to opt for a cornerback. I think there's a couple top ones in the class, and I think you're probably going to get solid enough value in round 2 if you want to go linebacker or interior offensive lineman, or even a tackle that's developmental. I think this, because the Jets just lost a bit of their draft capital, would be an excellent spot to trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a short range trade. I don't think the Jets are losing out on anything, and it's a good way to be able to get some good value at this spot, because I think that you could see pick 80 swapping with pick 112 here. You're moving up 40 spots. I don't exactly remember what the pure value of that is, but it is a way to be able to acquire more draft capital and be able to at least replace that third rounder that you shipped with Elijah Moore for that second. So Pittsburgh moves up, and I do believe that they are going to end up selecting a star in Joey Porter Jr. At pick number 16, I think Dalton Kincaid would be on their short list of dudes. Nolan Smith might be intriguing with the fact they did not pick up the 5th-year option of Chase Young, but I think they're going to ride that out personally, and I think they're going to stay local and go Deonte Banks out of Maryland. Pick 17, man, dude, Nolan Smith's on the board. This is just BS. I love Nolan Smith, and I think he might go higher, but I'm trying to predict this, and good players fall. This one, I just don't think I can let Broderick Jones fall anymore. I do think that the NFL is high enough on him, and I think the Jets are the exact team that does want someone who's a day one impact and just going to be a consistent starter. So I like that a lot. The Lions, I think this is a great spot for them to trade, and I think the Seattle Seahawks are a perfect location to trade with. And this is a very short range trade. I would personally be fine taking a 4th round pick for this, because look at this. You have that gap. Look at that right there. You have that 4th round gap. I think this would be an awesome opportunity to just move back a little bit and still get some good value right there. So the Seahawks move up 2 spots to select Nolan Smith and pairing him up with Jalen Carter. That is literally my dream. So Seattle, rejoice, because I do think that is very possible. Pick number 19. I'm trying to find a way to not go tight end this early, because I think this is a deep tight end class, but people truly believe this tight end class is going to be awesome. And this is a very tough pick, because you look at the offensive linemen, actually it got really thin really quickly. I kind of forgot about that one. You got Anton Harrison here, and they could be certainly looking for a future at left tackle, potentially right tackle if they want to put Tristan Wirfs on the other side. But they also are looking, for extra weapons, giving Baker Mayfield a good chance, giving a solid foundation for whatever future quarterback you do have. I think they will actually, I'm going to change my own predictive mock here. I think they're going to go the offensive tackle here in Anton Harrison. Pick number 20, Dalton Kincaid is still on the board, but with the loss of Jameson Williams for half of the year, and I think 2 other wide receivers on your team, you're going to be opting for someone who'd be an excellent, and I mean excellent, number 2. Actually, he'll be the number 1, the X, the complement to Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is Quentin Johnston. You trade back. I think the rumors of him slipping out of the first are complete BS. He tested out very well. Wasn't the fastest dude in the world. Okay, Treylon Burks ran, I believe, slower than him. And I think Quentin Johnston's a lot more explosive, a little bit better after the catch as well. And I like Treylon Burks. Quentin Johnston, to me, is that fringe guy. I think that I would probably be, this is where I'm comfortable taking him in a normal draft. Pick 21, I think if Dalton Kincaid is here, that is exactly who they are going to select. He's had some back issues, but I know the value of tight end to Kellen Moore, and I really do believe this is exactly what he's going to do. The Ravens lack some picks in this draft. I know that I'm pretty sure what you guys traded away your 2nd round selection here. So you guys are looking to continue adding draft capital, and there's some good players on the board. You got Brian Branch, who's a stud. You got Myles Murphy, Lucas Van Ness. There are guys who are highly acclaimed at this pick, and you could go Myles Murphy and be completely happy. But I just don't know if that's exactly what you're going to want to do. Brian Branch is here as well. I could see them trading with somebody who could be a competitor, but I don't see them trading with their own conference. I'm going to have the Saints make a ballsy move up. I think the Saints want to be able to grab as much as possible, and we could see this just being a 29 and 71 selection and giving the Ravens at least a little bit extra draft capital and maybe be able to move up with it. I know there's some potential like late round swaps you can do as well, but I think for the sake of this, we're going to force that through. And the Saints are going to select Myles Murphy. I think he could kick to the inside at 270 pounds. He plays exactly like Travon Walker. You know, he tested almost like Travon Walker. I think he's smarter on the field than Travon Walker. I just don't think he had the improvement that Travon did, and that's why you get him at 22 and not at number 1. Pick number 23. By the way, guys, you guys can have full access to my board. It's on Twitter. It's my pinned tweet, so feel free to check it out. No paywall, no nothing. Complete transparency. 205 players there, so feel free to check that out. But pick number 23, if this is how the board falls, I think the Vikings could be a trade back spot as well, but I don't think they let Zay Flowers slip past them right here. I think that they need to get a true number 2 weapon, and they're going to take advantage of somebody who could be Antonio Brown-esque. He'd be a very good complement to Justin Jefferson. Pick number 24. Brian Branch was actually, in all transparency, supposed to be gone at 21, but I'm going to be going Brian Branch here at pick 24. The Giants, they're still is like Lucas Van Ness on the board. I actually originally had this being a trade back spot because Anton Harrison was still on the board when I made this in my mind. No longer the case, and I don't know if DeJuan Jones will be moved up for by the Chiefs because I do think that'd be a smart move. I just don't know if it's realistic, and this is pure realism, not what Alex would like to do. I can see Osiris Torrance being a selection at this spot. They could be a little bit ballsy and do that. I think that Jordan Addison could be acquired by a team trying to make a trade up, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers still will be very aggressive and move up for their guy. I think the Bills might be a team that might be wanting to lurk and snag him. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, where the hell are they? There you go. I don't know why I clicked the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they still have good enough draft capital, but I think this way they're actually going to do a pick swap with the Giants. The Giants are moving up 8 spots to be able to move back some spots here. I think the Steelers will spicing up the deal with maybe tossing a future 4th rounder in there as well. So the Steelers keep the quantity of picks, but I also don't think the Giants need quantity of picks, or they don't need to increase the amount that they have. And I think the Steelers are going to go balls to the wall and go Jordan Addison. They're going to do it. They're going to draft the 2 guys that they truly believe in as culture fits. And that's what the Steelers do. They've been doing it for the past couple years. I'm calling it right now. Jordan Addison is going to be a Steeler. And Kenny Pickett's going to try to tell him, hey, take him at pick 17. And they're like, listen, just if he falls to pick 25, the Giants, they're not in a really good position. You can draft a center at the beginning of the second and be perfectly fine. I think this way, the Steelers get exactly who they're supposed to bring into the building. Offensive line, unfortunately, not going to be what we're going to draft. But you know what? I think that's perfectly fine. Pick 26 for the Cowboys. I think they're going to go Michael Mayer here. We could see running backs go higher than this, but I do think they miss Jason Witten, and I think that's exactly what they see in Michael Mayer. Pick number 27. I was dead set on this being Jordan Addison, but things have changed, and I do think Lucas Van Ness might be the pick that they're most intrigued with. Von Miller doesn't have too much time left. They drafted a raw prospect with a lot of power in Gregory Rousseau years ago. I think they continued the trend, and I wish they would go after Jack Campbell. I do. I don't think that he's going to be going this high, but I do think they should. And if he does, I'm going to rejoice. But until that happens, I can't. So I'm going to go Lucas Van Ness here. He shouldn't necessarily slide. He shouldn't. But he did. That's just the truth. There's good players that will fall. Pick number 28, Kalijah might be the dude who I'd be most intrigued with this selection. You know, getting somebody explosive on that defensive interior would be great. However, I have a weird feeling the NFL doesn't feel too comfortable with that arm length. There have been rumors that he will slide out of the first, and I think they'd go defensive interior. But last year, around this pick, they went at Daxton Hill out of Michigan, and I think defensive interior is an excellent choice for them to go. But they're going to go back to Michigan. I'm going to call it that Mozzie Smith is the first defensive interior off the board. A lot of questions surrounding these guys, but this guy's an athletic freak who can also play the run very well, and it's not a huge necessity. Emmanuel Forbes might be a pick they might be intrigued with, but I do think at the end of the day, you're having that instant chemistry as well with having former college teammates come in. You have that work on the offensive side. Maybe it will work on the defensive. Pick number 29 for the Ravens. I'm having a hard time not going Emmanuel Forbes for this team, but I do think Kalijah could be a really fun option for them. I think Emmanuel Forbes just has that ball hawk mentality that fits the Ravens. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. I think the Ravens are going to fall in love with that. The Eagles went after Bijan earlier. I think DeJuan Jones could be a really, really, really intriguing prospect for them right here. And I'm having a hard time because I really want to take Kalijah Cansey or Adetomiwa Adebawore, but they brought in DeJuan Jones for a top 30. Did not bring in Kalijah for a top 30. Do I think that's set in stone? Absolutely not. But I do think DeJuan Jones might be the way they go. You're looking for a succession plan from Lane. DeJuan might be the guy to do that. But I'm going to go against my gut. Maybe it's going to bite me in the ass. I'm going to go Adetomiwa Adebawore here. 4'9" at 282 pounds, 34-inch arms. Going to play on the interior as well as in some certain sets on the outside as an edge rusher. Pick number 31. Will McDonald probably will be the selection for me here. I think DeJuan Jones should be considered. I really do. You have that 5th-year contract as well. Offensive line is key. I don't even know who's playing right tackle for you at the moment. And Will McDonald's here. That's the thing. I think Will McDonald would be a stud on the Chiefs. And that's the guy who I'm like, Kalijah would be so good for this team too. You guys are handed a really, really nice set of 3 right here. And I don't think that you guys have to really worry about making the right selection because you guys are going to end it off with a bang. DeJuan Jones, the behemoth, might be the dude who certainly makes it at 31. Because I think there's some good edge rushers down the board. Isaiah Foskey, I think they might value that. Will McDonald's a great player. Kalijah's a great player. I like Kalijah. I have him like fairly high on my board, not compared to the consensus, but high on my board. I'm going to go and say that they want to draft something for Patrick Mahomes here and go DeJuan Jones. That is the final mock draft that I do for this year. It's been fun, and I really do appreciate you guys for being with me on this journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.